Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Elias. Clearly, you could tell that I am on the floor starting at the beginning of this video, which really sets the whole mood for this video that things are about to get dead serious. For a couple of videos now, I've been telling you guys that I have been interested in reading this book. Pretty sure you clicked on this video knowing what that book is, and straight off the bat, I'll be doing a reading vlog for Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. Now, while I did mention this book and previously talked about it a little bit, I think that for me, I'll have more of an assumption based on like the first 50 pages of the book or so. I do know that this book does deal with the aspect of incest. However, I do want to acknowledge that I was trivial about, I guess, the concept matter because it's dealing with a really heavy topic, and I'm assuming that there's sort of like a base leading up to this particular point. I do know that to an extent there is some trauma and grief involved in this process. This book does deal with heavy topics, and I'm looking at all of it with a splash of humor. Before we dive in headfirst into this particular subject matter, I would like to thank today's video sponsor by Future Elias. Thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. Book of the Month, they're at it again. They're essentially a super fast and popular online growing book service for readers, whose mission is to promote new and emerging authors to help readers discover the books they love. Their team combs through hundreds of books each month to give readers their choice from a curated selection of new and early release titles, so you can spend more time researching and less time reading. Oh, no, that's the opposite. So you can spend more time reading and less time researching. What am I saying? They also have a fantastic skip policy, meaning if you're not vibing with that month's selection of books, you can totally skip it. It's risk-free and you won't be charged. So this month is incredibly special. For this holiday season, you can get your first hardcover book for only $5. It truly is a merry, happy Christmas. You can click on my link down below and use the code JOLLY to get your first book for only $5. It honestly does not get any better than that. And with that being said, let's take a look at this month's selections. First up, we have contemporary fiction, Olga Dies Dreaming. Two siblings vie for the American dream until Hurricane Maria drags their estranged mother back into their lives. Last up, we have my pick for this month, A History of Wild Places, a mesmerizing tale about the search for a missing woman last seen going into an isolated forest town with some secrets. Next, we have a thriller, A Flicker in the Dark. When a serial killer emerges with an eerily familiar pattern, Chloe Davis wonders if she really escaped her past. Next up, we have Somebody's Daughter. A moving coming-of-age memoir about the complications of family provides ample testament to the resilience of love. Lastly, we have romance, The Holiday Swap. Twins who could both use a reset decide to revive their childhood habit and swap places. Lastly, I want to thank Book of the Month for sending me an add-on this month, Anthropocene, reviewed by John Green. So definitely take advantage of this holiday season and get your first book for only $5. Thank you once again to Book of the Month for sending these my way and for sponsoring today's video. Alright, with that being said, let us go ahead and get straight into this book. Okay, by the way, I didn't explain what this book is about, so if you haven't seen my other videos talking about this book, briefly, it's about these group of siblings who are struggling to survive and have to take care of each other, and through this, they develop certain bonds and relationships, two of them, where they think they're more than just siblings. They're more like friends, and so they start to fall in love. That is essentially a really vague and brief synopsis that this book has given me, and I do know that according to a couple of reviews that I've read and you guys in my previous video like commenting, this book is so much more than that. It's beautiful and it's just heartbreaking. So I guess I'm just ready to be traumatized and all the feels. So what else is new on this channel, right? I've never read or heard from this author before, and for a book that's talking about dealing with the subject matter, it's literally 450 pages long. So we'll see how this goes. I have no idea what to expect. You guys wanted a reading vlog, so here it is.
You I hate being around me, even if you're not okay. And even if
Hello everyone, just wanted to give you guys a quick update. I am roughly halfway through with this book. We have reached the point now where the two siblings are really in it, are really going for it, in it together, in it to win it. Right now I'm just feeling all of the feels in the worst fucking way possible. I feel disgusted! Like, I knew it was coming, but the way it was written and the way that it's everything that is happening, I'm just still in shock. Like, my brain is still processing this and I'm just like, get me out of here before it's too late. It is too late because I am this far into the book, essentially halfway. I mean, honestly, for a 450-page book, not a lot happens. Not to say that there has to be a lot of things happening, but I mean, things are happening now, and I am definitely, totally not here for it. I just want it all to stop. And I know the situation that they're in, but it does not make it any less worse or gross. It's just highly uncomfortable to read. I mean, I feel like if you've had siblings, then you can definitely relate in some way. Not the incest part, okay? Let me get that out of the way fucking clear. I have never related in any way to this incestuous relationship that these siblings have with each other. I'm just mainly talking about the sibling vibes. You know, if you have a sibling, if you're brother or sister, you get what I mean. But not the falling in love part, because hopefully you and I, none of us can relate with that, right? I think that's pretty much all I want to say right now for this book. It is just not a good time. Not here for it. Well, I'll see you guys on the flip side.
I know that I don't feel okay. I hate it cause it's every day. I'm making up my own mistakes. I'm hoping that I'll be replaced. I'm waiting cause you're in my way.
Alright, so I have about this much left in the book, and I have reached sort of the tumultuous points where the climax is about to happen and everything, and shit is about to go down. I guess I can see how this book has stuck with a lot of people. However, a couple of things, I'll probably go over a bit of this towards the end of the video for my review. I think the bottom line for me is that I don't feel quite as, you know, a deep connection with the characters as other people do. Just wanted to give you guys a little quick update on where I'm at in the book. This much left. Yeah, that's pretty much all I'm gonna say. So I've reached sort of the ending for this book, and man, I'm kind of upset that last chapter actually got me, and it's so freaking sad. Yeah, I have this much left. Man, that last chapter, I'm just sad now. Like I don't feel the need or urge to cry. Oh, I'm feeling things and it's not good. Anyway, so I'm just gonna continue on and finish this last portion of the book. So that was like really quick, but I finally finished the last portion of this book, and therefore I have finished this book. That ending was really sad, not gonna lie. I think I'm just gonna sleep on this book for the night and do a full review for tomorrow. Just need to get all my thoughts processed and in order just to fully take in that last portion of the book. I think if I had read this like a few years back, I would have been abso-fucking-lutely devastated. I think this is the type of book where if I had read this at a much younger age, I feel like it would have affected me so much more deeply than it has now. You know, it's really funny because throughout reading this whole book, my experience is like, I'm not too privy to sort of like this whole circumstance or the situation. Like, I couldn't really connect or relate with the characters, but then the ending happened and I'm just sort of reeling, processing, and taking all that in. But there you go, we have finally finished Forbidden.
The next day.
Alright guys, hello. It is now the next day and I am now ready to talk about Forbidden. I can still safely say I'm still affected by this book, especially that ending. When I was reading this book, starting it and pretty much halfway through, like pretty much the majority of the book, like 70% of it, I felt really disconnected from the book overall. I couldn't really connect with the characters, and I think that's partly due to the writing. I thought the writing in of itself wasn't that great. Don't get me wrong though, there were some aspects in this book, especially the writing style, that I was okay with. Those were really far and few in between though, because, you know, for the majority of this book, I just thought the writing was just so cheesy, and honestly the whole book was like melodramatic right up until the point I got to 20% of this book, and that pretty much all changed. And I was like, all right, I guess the author was like, it's my time to shine, it's my moment. She basically put everything she had in the last 20% of the book. I don't know, I felt like the relationship between the two siblings, it was kind of cheesy, like the things that they would say to each other. I mean, majority of this book I was already cringing, but writing aside, that is how I felt about this book majority wise, because I couldn't connect with the writing, therefore I couldn't connect with the characters or the story. I can definitely see how and why people were so devastated upon completing this book, and why they love it so much. I feel like if I had read this a few years ago, I think I would have, belonged in that same category who really felt all the feels for reading this book. However, reading this book now, I also think it's partly due to it being YA. It just has those core YA elements in there that I just couldn't relate, as someone who's 26. However, just because it's YA, it doesn't downgrade the source material or story that this book has to offer. There were so many instances in this book, and for good reason, that just made me so uncomfortable that I didn't even want to continue, because I was like, nothing good is going to come out of this. Like, in of itself, I already knew things were not going to end well for either characters or any of the characters in this book. So these two siblings who have lived with each other for like 16, 18 years of their life, they are fucking whipped for each other. And just seeing how hard they fell for each other, it was sort of unbelievable to me personally, because I was like, you live with each other, your whole life. But yet, this one instance, they're like head over heels. Like, they were gone. Like, they're at school and they couldn't wait to be home and see each other again. And I was like, you guys literally live with each other. Like, calm down, chill, okay? I don't know, maybe because in the book they're both conventionally attractive, it could be a pretty sibling privilege thing. So every time the unthinkable happens, the uncomfortableness, when they get together, I would just be like, no, please stop. Red flag, red flag. This isn't Alabama. I mean, plot twist. It takes place in the UK. Like, at one point in the book, they even recite wedding vows to each other. And I'm just over here like, stop. Please stop. No.
I'm horny. I'm horny. Come on.
No, God!
I don't know. I do understand that, like, the circumstances that they're in, the hardships, the trauma that they have to go through with the abuse and neglect of their mother, that they have to take care of these younger siblings. They have to rely on each other. I don't know, man. I've seen and read worse. Not to downgrade the situation that they're in any way, but at the same time, I'm just like, people of color had it worse. I'm not saying that this situation, this scenario doesn't exist, like this case of incest. I mean, I know people who have 8, 9 siblings who absolutely went through shitty times when they were younger, but yet they didn't develop feelings for each other whatsoever in this regard. I personally couldn't really empathize or sympathize with these characters, like, for the majority of the book. I would say like 80% of the book, until we got like the last 20%, because I've read about other families, other siblings in these same type of scenarios and situations. Not to say that this whole situation or the circumstances regarding it have to lead to an incestuous response or relationship, Like, honestly, for me, regarding this book, I felt like it truly wouldn't have mattered anyway, even if they weren't in the same scenario as they were in now, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe I'm confusing you guys, because it's also a strenuous and different type of situation that these kids have found themselves in, and it's a reality that a lot of families have to go through. Not the incest part, okay? The hardships of having to raise a family on your own without any parental help. But yeah, I just think that people of color, marginalized communities have it way worse, and they don't fall in love with each other, I think. I hope. But I mean, at the end of the day, overall, this book just made me sad. I was not expecting to feel any type of anything regarding this book, because I was like disconnected with everything, the writing, the characters, and the story. And then the ending hit, and I was like, fuck me. I do want to point out, though, one major factor, that incest in this book isn't romanticized in any way. Even regarding the ending, I still felt like overall it was just still melodramatic and just underwhelming of sorts with how the characters, the siblings, interacted with not just like each other, but with other people around them. Like, it wasn't totally realistic in a sense. Like, you could definitely tell they were written by somebody else, Like, there are several different instances where you read about, different characters in these books where they feel real, they feel alive because of the way they were written. However, the characters themselves, the way they were written, the way that they spoke or acted, it just took me out of the story like several times. And that disconnect overall was just too big for me in general. Also, funny enough, when I was looking on Goodreads, like all the reviews, I see reviews like way back when this book was published, and I see people posting like pretty pictures of like pretty people, like fan casting them essentially. And I'm like, stop. This is not that type of book, okay? Like, you're done. you're done. Like, I would get that fan casting in like a contemporary or romance. This isn't the type of book, okay? I mean, hey, if you're looking for a friends to lovers trope, this book has got you covered. I'm totally kidding, by the way. So yeah, that is pretty much it. That's pretty much all I have to say with this book. I didn't cry. I didn't really feel much of anything, to be honest, until the last 20%, the last 10% of this book. I don't know, I'm just gonna say that a few years ago, I would have probably ate this shit up. I would have cried. It would have hit me deeply and devastatingly, but reading about it now in this day and age, I think when it comes down to it, it's about the technicalities for me. Maybe if it was written in a certain way or differently, I would have liked it more than I would have. Bygones are bygones now, because at the end of the day, I already finished this book, and I'm giving this book 2.75. I mean, if I round it up, it's like a 3 stars, but it wasn't terrible. I don't feel anything for this book. But that ending, okay, I'm gonna give it 3 stars because of that ending. It certainly has a message, you know, about these people living in these type of situations and what could come out of an incestuous relationship and how that affects them, and not only them, but the people around them as well. And oh, speaking of that aspect about affecting, you know, the people around them, I wish the author expanded upon that a little bit more. Alright, well, that's pretty much it for this book. Thanks again to fucking Book Twitter. I have read and finished this book. Like, I honestly wouldn't even recommend this book to just anyone. After so many times of saying that I would do a reading vlog for this book, I finally done it. For you guys. Do I regret it? I mean, I did get my coin for reading this book. So thank God for that. Please let me know down in the comments below if you have read this book. What did you guys think? If you have read it like a few years ago, how did you feel back then? Or if you have read it recently, what do you feel about it now? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon with a new video. Someone's calling the police because this relationship in this book is illegal.